Hello, Revere, and welcome to our Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today I have a special guest. His name is Anthony Chianca. But Anthony, let me say welcome to our show.
Thank you, Morris.
But you'd like me to call you Tony.
Tony is what everybody calls me, yep.
Before you speak about your organization, because that's what you're here for,
Right.
I want to thank you on behalf of the Senior Center for what you donate to us for the flea market that'll be coming up,
Okay.
and for the music that we do there. So again, thank you.
You're
And you are a real veteran of the community.
Thank you very much. I enjoy doing it. It makes my heart feel good doing it.
It makes us feel good too.
Thank
But
you.
Tony, you're here for another reason, so tell us about that.
Well, it's I'm kind of like on what the committee called Bike to See. It's a new organization here. It's been around for 25 years, but yeah, we're just doing the Revere section now. It's almost done. We're getting there, and it's going to link up so many different cities, and Everett and Malden is done, Lexington's done, and all the North Shore's done. After us we'll have a little section in Lynn to connect, and you can go from one North Shore all the way down, and it's a great place to ride, and for some seniors that don't ride bikes, it's a great place to walk and get out and enjoy. And like I go out and walk 2 or 3 times a day on it, and I take the grandkids. They ride their little bikes back and forth. And
You have grandkids?
yeah, I have 8 grandkids. Yeah.
Let's hear their
yeah.
names. Let's put them on TV.
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot now.
Go ahead.
I have Nani was the oldest.
Yep.
Brianna, Gianna,
Oh,
Matthew.
all Polish kids, huh?
Yeah, Polish kids. Dominic, Ariana, Nicholas, Mackenzie.
Who's the youngest?
The youngest is Ariana.
How old?
She's just turned 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, Tony, you yourself ride the bicycle. I'd like to ask you, if I was riding the bike, what is the longest distance that they have up from A to Z, let's say?
Oh, you go any place. I have like behind my, when I come out on the trail, I come out from behind my house, and the trail starts there. And
There's no beginning of the trip.
you can get on and
Anywhere.
probably 30, 40 different locations.
Oh,
It
okay.
stops in different places. But when I come out, and I have a flower garden out back there, to decorate with the flowers and stuff, and I meet people walking by, and I have a gentleman, his name is Bill, and he comes down from Beverly. He does Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. He does the trip, and he comes down and he stops because the Revere Trail isn't finished, and he sits with me and we talk. He has a bottle of water, and I remember about 6 months ago he said, I won't be here Friday, and I said, oh, something wrong, everything okay? Yeah, my son's picking me up, we're going out for lunch. And I said, oh, anything special? He says, this is my birthday. And I said, you don't mind me asking? He says, yeah, no. He says, I'll be 80 years old.
Wow.
And he says,
And he still rides the
I ride 20 miles 3 days a week, he says, and it's
Fantastic.
like, it just keeps him healthy, he says, and you know what I mean?
I would love to do it myself, Tony, but my knees are shot.
Yeah, you joined the club. But it's good for walking, and you know what I mean? For me, it's done wonders for me. It's got my weight down, and, all my cholesterol and all those other crazy things.
It's a good exercise, then.
Exercise is a great thing for you, and you meet a lot of nice people. You wouldn't believe the people you meet, and I've met people that I worked with at the airport when I worked at the airport, and I'm looking at a gentleman walking by, and he's looking at me, and he says, I know you, no, I know you, and we worked together for 25 years at the airport, and he lives right around the corner from me in Revere, and I never knew it.
It's funny, I worked at the airport for a steel company, and they built the baggage handling machinery for overseas flights and coming in there.
Oh, at the international.
Yeah.
I worked.
Right.
I worked the international building for a lot of years when they first made it. Yeah.
Yep. Now, Tony, people don't know that, but you also worked at Citizens Bank, which is directly below us.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
And you were there for approximately 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
Tell us about it.
Well, we used to do the security in the parking lot, and directing people. So many spaces for the bank, so many for the people, tenants upstairs, and wasn't a rewarding job sometimes when you had to tell a person you can't park there, you know what I mean? Well, that belongs to so and so.
Did anybody ever give you a difficult time?
I've had a few people, a few people like the funny ones, which you kind of just listen and say, yeah, okay. The people say, do you know who I am? I don't know who you are. I'm here to do a job.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And But
You know,
had some fun times here.
there was a gentleman that also worked at Citizens Bank. He never got credit. I didn't know him that well, but when you went inside, you knew him because he
Yeah.
would always help. And his name was Vinny, but I never knew his last name. Tell
Yeah.
us a little about
know-
Vinny because no one ever mentioned him.
Right. Vinny worked here usually, he worked like a concierge person in the bank. And a lot of people come in, they didn't know how to fill out their
Oh, he would help
deposit
them?
slip. He would help them do it. And a lot of the kids that would come in from on the handicap bus or something, like they went on worked every day, they got a paycheck. They came in Friday, he would help them write that and do stuff like that there. He was such a nice person. He helped
How
everybody.
long was he there?
He was there longer than me. He came from the Chelsea Bank, which was the original bank that was downstairs there, and he was in there and many years before me. Like he probably with the bank 30 years. And
Wow.
he was a wonderful person. He helped everybody, and sometimes I would have a bad day and people were yelling and screaming at me outside. He'd come out and say, "Come on inside, relax, and calm down, and get back out there. After I take a deep breath and." So it was fun.
You were born and raised in Revere, or you?
I was born in East Boston, and I was raised there, and I got married to my sweetheart, which I went to school with, and we've been married 51 years now. After last year, we did 51 years, and we have 5 sons, and
Any in the Army or in the service?
my oldest son was a Marine Corps vet, and he did 2 tours, and he actually got hurt in the Beirut bombing.
Oh,
And,
at the
when they blew up the barracks up
Yep.
there and stuff, he got hurt
in
there.
Lebanon. There, that was
Yeah.
about in the 80s. or
Yeah,
so.
I forget.
88.
I forget the year, and he got hurt, and most of the guys that got hurt, they had them on ships offshore
Oh.
because they had no basic, great hospitals there.
Right.
And I got a call from one of the officers saying he's on here. We get so many people hurt.
About
and
200 plus got killed in that bombing.
Yeah, and he
so
says we
your
had a
son was
lot
lucky.
of people hurt, and that I didn't know what to do. I was at my wit's end. You know what I mean? How do I help my son that's way over there? And my cousin Karen, she worked for Senator Kennedy in Boston, his office. She was one of his aides there, and I just happened to call her and I said, got any ideas? How do I do this? And she says, come here at 11 o'clock. Senator Kennedy's going to be here. So I actually went in there and I told him and this and that there. And about 11:30 at night, and I got a phone call after I talked to Senator Kennedy. And he says he's on an medical plane. He's going to the States someplace to a medical base to have his knees and all the other wounds he had done, fixed up. And,
How is he today? Okay.
Today he's great. He's great. He's actually he's at North Shore Community College. He helps out the vets up there now, and he does
Good.
that there and stuff like
What's
that.
his first name?
Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah, you probably remember him because after I left the bank, he took over the bank for the last 3 years.
He might have seen me in
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
he
anyway,
knows you.
I want to say, Vincent, thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you. He's a
You
good
are
boy.
also from the greatest generation. in
Yeah,
there.
no, he's a good boy. He works hard, and he loves the Marine Corps still. I think if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have been a lifer. Been there forever.
Is that?
Yeah, he would have been a lifer.
I want to tell you, how did this organization first get started, or who started it? I know you gave me a couple of people.
Steve Winslow
Yep.
actually started it. He's the main person that started it, and there's so many other members. Steve Winslow and the board members are Gus Fish, Janet Green, Clay Larson, who's the engineer person, Steve Lieberman, Ginny Mullen. She's the other person from Revere that's on the committee with me, and
That's good.
she lives right up there. And Kathleen O'Brien, Carla Stowell, Pete Sutton, Sandra Cortez, Jim Cortez, Henry Scone, myself, and Sam Amato, Joseph Wilson, and many others. We probably have 300 or 400 people that sign up just to be
How
members.
many?
300 or 400 people.
That's quite a lot of
Yeah,
people.
and they come to the events, bike riding events, and stuff like that there. And
You mentioned to me something about grants, or getting grants from the cities.
yeah, and
Which are the
that's
cities that donate the grants for this?
well, they come from all different places. We got to do our trail. We got like 116,000 from the DCR, and we had a fundraising, and all the cities that got grants. We had it down by O'Brien's in over in Saugus. We had out in the trail, we had it there, and we got 116,000, and that wasn't enough. It's enough to get started, and we finally, a couple of weeks ago from the council, Charlie Patch got a motion
from
Revere. He's the Ward 6 councilor, and I guess there was a fund from Roseland Quarry that every truck that went in and out of there, they would pay a $1 or $2 fee to the city, and it accumulated. The only wording on that was that when the money was going to be distributed, it would only be to the Ward 6 area, because we had to put up with all the trucks and the noise and the blasting. And we got a $25,000 check from the city. And
from the city of Revere?
City of Revere,
That's
yeah.
good.
Out
Thank
of that
you,
fund,
city.
Out of that fund, thank you very much. Yeah, it came in handy. And we're going to do a dog park up in North Revere, also West Revere. There's going to be a dog park, and they're going to fund. They got a grant out of that money too.
I got to tell you, we got a terrific mayor in the city, Dan Rizzo.
Yeah, I've known Dan forever. He had an office downstairs on the first floor.
Where, right here?
Right here. His mom and dad would always come in when they all come in, and his dad would go out, and every morning always bought me coffee and came back with a cup of coffee for me and took care of me.
Well, Dan, I don't know him that well, but as little as I do know him, I think he's one of the best veterans that I've met. He was in the Navy for 6 years.
He's a Navy veteran, yeah.
So he's not only a military veteran, he's a community veteran too.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've known him for a long time. We have all our company businesses with him, insurance and cars and everything.
Now, I'm a layman. Let's say I can't do it, but let's say I could do it, and I wanted to sign up for the organization. How do I go about it?
Well, you can go, let's see.
Can I notify someone too?
Yeah, you can go with it.
Good, you read it.
Okay, I'll read it. It's www.biketosea.com, and you can punch in that there and you get all the information. Or you can even go on Facebook and punch us up on Facebook, and you'll see all the pictures and posters and
And
stuff
if people
like that.
do not have a computer, and they want to make contact, is there a phone number they could call?
Yeah, they can call
the business number?
The business, probably Steve, probably Steve Winslow would be the best one.
Is that his business number right here?
Yeah, Steve's business number, well, that's his, the company number. Probably his home number would be the better one.
Okay, which is?
781-397-6893.
Right.
Well, Clay Larson is the engineer. He does a lot, and his number is 617-908-1022.
Right. Is there any age limit to join? I mean,
No.
or I mean, senior or junior?
Yeah, a lot of people, when they sign up, they'll get the little card. Like when you sign up, you get a card, you fill out an application, and you get a card back. And there's different rates. Like you can be a single person or a family thing, and it's not a lot of money.
One question I got to ask you. I know that maybe yes, maybe no. You don't have bicycle racing because you can come in with a fast bike and I could come in with a slow bike.
Oh, no. Everybody goes at their own pace. You know.
Oh, okay. So it's not a race, really.
No, not a racing thing. It's just a fun place to get out and enjoy exercise. And some guys have bikes worth thousands of dollars, you know what I mean? And they have fancy gear on and all these riding suits, and you should see them.
So a person with a motorized bike wouldn't be too good at that?
No, I don't think there's no really motorized bikes. I mean, like dirt bikes or two-wheel bikes on there. But I've noticed lately there's these new bikes that come out. They run by battery now.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, something like that, and then they run about 20 miles. So, you know, that...
Do they pedal or they just sit there and let the bike?
You can pedal it, or you can press the button for the battery juice, and it's...
So anybody can get involved, even if they can't lift their knees.
Absolutely. And another thing, if I can mention, if possible, there's a young fella here in Lynn, Nicholas Capiano.
Yep.
He's in a wheelchair, and in the winter, it's a motorized wheelchair, and he would try to do the trail just in the winter because it's hard to get on the trail.
Just out of the chair?
Out of that chair, he would do it, and in the Lynn Commission on Disability, they...
I don't know if they can get a good picture of that.
Yeah.
Hold that up to the camera, right there. See if they can make a blow up of that.
Yeah,
that's
kind of hard, but it's kind of hard. He's in his wheelchair, and he said, "I'd like to use the trail. You know, I can't walk, but I could ride my wheelchair." And you know, and the Disability Commission in Lynn, they voted to make the trails more accessible. And so far this year here, Menino Construction came in with their crew, and they leveled the place, and it's nice and level, and the kid can go on the trail by himself without anybody being with him and stuff, and it's a great thing.
Is that the same company where they had all that snow and they had volunteered to clean it?
I think that's them. I think that was them. Yeah, it's a big company. It's a very big company, and they've
I
done
heard
a
that
lot of
from
work.
people that live in Lynn.
Yeah.
That they couldn't get that. Never mind riding, even
No,
walking.
no.
And he volunteered to clean the whole.
He's done
patch.
a lot of good projects. You know what I mean? He's done a lot of good
And
stuff.
what's his name again?
Menino Construction.
Thank you, Mr. Menino.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah. His name is Nicholas also. Yeah. And,
Now I want you to tell us a little about your education. I always like to ask people that there because then I can pick their brains. Go ahead, Tony.
I grew up in all the schools in East Boston. I went to East Boston High until my 11th year, and I left because all my friends were leaving. We went to Brighton High School because they were teaching automotive, how to fix cars and that there. And so I said, maybe I want to be an auto mechanic. Because all my friends, about 6 of us went there. My brother went, and I went, and about 4 other people. It was 6 altogether it was. And we went to Brighton High, we graduated, and we came back. We all got a job at Sears and Roebuck on Route 1, working in the garage. And my brother retired just recently with the 40 years with Sears and Roebuck, and all my other friends stayed like 20 years, but I stayed about a year, and from there I went to the airport, and I stayed at the airport for 25 years working at the airport, and had a fun time there, and it was kind of nice. And
I got to ask, are you the first or second generation in America?
Second generation, yeah.
Where did your grandparents come from? I know they came from Italy.
Yeah,
I could break that
it's
down.
on the Sicily side, a little town way up called Gaetano. And
From Sicily?
It's a little further up from Sicily, but on the Sicily side, but on that side of the coast, like a little further
Gaetano?
up. Gaetano was the name of the town. My dad's grandfather, when he came here, I think it was 1906, he was a baker, and he actually came here. His sponsor was Santapio's from East Boston, and he worked for Santapio for about 6 years making pizzas and bread and stuff like that until he was a smart person. He started his own little bakery in East Boston, and
And it turned out pretty good?
turned out good.
I'm getting hungry, but keep going.
And my mother's grandfather, my mother was a Festo, and he came over here. He was a bricklayer and a mason and stuff like that there, and he owned some property down by the airport. He had a farm, and he grew vegetables, and everything was homemade. Everything we had was homemade, and like once a week he would take me early in the morning. We used to get the train at Maverick Square, and
Right.
we used to end up at Forest Hills. And we'd walk down by the cemetery, by the trees and stuff, and he'd say, "Go up ahead, that big tree over there, go behind it, there's all mushrooms, get them." I was a kid, I didn't know that. And I go to that tree and turn around, and there were the mushrooms right there. We used to pick baskets full of mushrooms and come home, and he would clean them, and we put them in the jars with the salt and cap them, and he would sell the extra stuff. And
You just said something that I wish the people out there, especially in government, are listening. You said when your grandparents came here, they were sponsored.
they were sponsored. They had to be at that time, yeah.
Right. Today they come in here and they are not
Yeah, no,
sponsored.
they're sponsored.
And you can see the difference what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, and I remember down on the Pier 1, the building is still there. I think it's in apartments now. But when you got off the boat, you had to stay in this quarantine-type building, like for 2 or 3 weeks. You had a
Yep.
medical evaluation. You had to stay in there, and
Did
you
they
were
come
cleared.
through Ellis Island or they came directly to East
It came,
Boston?
I think it was directly. I'm not positive,
Okay.
but I think it's where
Yep.
they ended up.
Because my grandparents had to spend time at Ellis Island.
Ah.
And they would give them a strict medical exam.
Right, yeah.
And if there was anything wrong, they were on the ship going back
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, but
Yeah, but times have changed, Tony.
it's been it's a little different. Yeah, so but
People flock to come to this great country
it is
of ours.
it's a great country. It's very.
I got to
great.
tell you, I say this, I know I get flack for it, but I don't care. The worst part of America is better than the best part of some of the European countries.
Yeah.
Because we have more freedom here than anyone else
Anybody
has.
else, yeah. And you can see why people want to come here. It's a
Right.
great country.
Yep.
And it's like, and I have 5 sons. They work hard. They work every day. You know, I worked hard all my life at the airport. I always had two jobs at the airport. I worked at Northwest, but I worked for FedEx, I worked for UPS, and I worked for the post office. Yeah, as a side job, just, you know, to raise these 5 boys. And my wife was the one that taught them the brain power and the smarts and all that stuff, you know what I mean? But, you know, and I probably, hopefully I taught them to work that, because they worked all their life in the construction business. And
See, was the wife the boss in your house?
oh, yeah, absolutely.
See, with me it was different. I was never a yes man with my wife. When she said no, I said no.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know, when my wife is Irish, French and Irish. You know what I mean? And you know, she's a very smart girl. She was in the nursing industry for over 30 years. You know
Well,
what I mean?
my wife was born in this country, but her parents come from Austria. My father come from Germany. My mother come from Russia. So that was quite a combination too.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. You know, she brought them up well. I mean, did them the right thing. They're in the Boy Scouts and baseball, football, and all the good stuff like that. And we had a park up, and we used to live in Jeffreys Point, one of our houses. And she would take them to the park, like. She should tie clothesline rope around their wrist, like like a knot, like.
Oh, to kick 'em.
And she'd make them fall
Like a leash.
like a leash, and they'd all follow her. So nobody would stray off. You know what I mean? Probably if she did it today, she'd probably be arrested for abuse or something.
Did you notice how the neighborhoods have changed? I mean, since you grew up in East Boston and I came to Revere.
Yeah.
And
It's
even
quite
New York,
different.
where I was born and
Yeah.
raised, it's completely different now.
All the towns are different. Yeah, it's. I guess they say every 20 or 30 years they change generations and nationalities change and stuff like that.
Right, and people always say to me, look at them, they're all living together, all the Mexicans, all the Latinos, all the Italians, all the Hebrews, all the Muslims.
Yeah.
I said, that's true, because when my parents came here, we moved to the east side because we couldn't find any place in Brooklyn. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
The east side was predominantly Italian of the first generation I'm talking about, because people want to be clubbed together when they come from the old country.
Yeah.
But as you can see, the kids, they all branched out all over now.
Afterwards, yeah, that's it. My sons are all branched
You
out.
take a look, if you go into your East Boston, it's a lot of Latino and Spanish. All I hear is people on Chelsea too.
Chelsea,
but that's because they're the first generation mostly, and they're all living together.
Yeah. No, it is. It's fine. It's like, you know, I've been blessed, you know, with 5 good boys, and the 8 grandkids, and a beautiful wife that I've been together forever. And like, you know what I mean?
That's good. Now, Tony, I want to go back to my senior center for a few minutes.
Sure.
There. You come in with a lot of stuff for them. To have a flea market, which, by the way, we're going to have a flea market at the senior center in August, I believe it is.
Yeah.
What is it that people like? I mean, what people usually come in to see?
I think a lot of people, they look for knick-knacky stuff, you know what I mean? Little statues or stuff like that, or little jewelry items that you know, cosmetic.
A couple of days ago, I was over at Liberto's Bakery, and a gentleman came over to me and he saw this flag, and he says, "Where did you get that?" He says, "I'd like to get one for my wife." I says, "There's a lady at the senior center, her name is Alice Griffin, and she makes these by hand, and they're cheap. I mean, you know, all you had to do is go down there and see if they had them." So he called up the senior center. They had the flags there. He didn't hesitate. He said to Miss Lois Diamond, who's the director there of activities.
Yeah, she is a good person. Yeah.
She's the best of the best, really.
Yeah.
He called her up. They had it. He put 2 aside for her. He didn't even say goodbye to me. He just took off like a jet, you know. And then he called me up and he said, "Gee, Morris, I got the 2." I said, "It's good. I'm glad you're happy."
Yeah. Lois is a very nice person. She's very, very nice, and you know, a lot of times, you know, I end up with odds and ends stuff, like, you know, and get stuff, and I bring in like flowers or wreaths, things like that there, and I bring it in there. I know one time my son came over with a case of yarn from one of the job sites. They were going to throw it away. It's a whole case of yarn. You wouldn't believe how much was in there, and so I brought it down to them, you know what I mean, because they do all the knitting class over there and stuff like that there, you know. So, but I enjoy doing it, and I got friends that bring me like electronic gadgets, little toys and stuff, and I like to clean them and change the batteries out.
You like to tinker with them?
I like to tinker with them, make sure they work, and when they're clean, and I put fresh batteries in them, and I donate them to to kids that don't have them. And my son took a truckload down to Rhode Island because he lives in Rhode Island by Warwick, and they have a shelter down there, and he donated the stuff that I
nice.
tinkered with, and it gives me something to do, and I enjoy doing it.
One time I used to work part-time because I wanted to make some extra money. I worked for an outfit. They made toys, Hasbro, down in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I know the name.
They would make the toys there, but if it had any defect, they would put it aside.
Right.
And I said one time to them many years ago, I says, what do you do with them? Well, we give them to the fire stations to give out Christmas to the kids.
Yeah.
So I says, could I take some? And they said, sure. So they put a couple in, a couple of bags, I should say, big black bags.
Wow.
And I dropped them off at the fire station at one time, and the kids had Christmas. And there was nothing really wrong with the toys.
Yeah.
They just had a little blemish on them.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's a good feeling to give back and help people.
Oh, definitely.
Because I know if I could mention one of my
Sure.
sons, Christopher, he teaches hockey, the Vipers, and they were championships in Revere in their league this year here, and every year they have a tournament. They played in East Boston, and at the beach there at the ring, and every kid on the team has to save money of his own to buy a gift, which they donate. The state police pull up with a cruiser, and they donate to the state police to give back to like Christmas time to the kids, and they do that every year, and it's a nice feeling to see these kids do that. And,
it's terrific, Tony. And I got to say, we're just about out of time,
Okay.
so I want to say to you, I want to thank you for taking the time to
Thank
come
you.
up,
Thank
speaking
you.
about your organization.
Thank you.
You should put a scroll on the board there, and let them see it, let the
Right.
people of Revere see it, because a lot of them might be interested
Yeah,
in it. And
I think once we get it completed, we're going to have an open house up there. The mayor will be there with everybody else, and people get to see a beautiful view of the marsh and a beautiful place to exercise and do stuff.
So let me say thank you again, Tony,
Okay.
for coming.
Thank
Let me thank the people of Revere for watching, and the people in the surrounding communities. God bless our troops. God bless our people of Revere and the city of Revere, and especially our great country, the United States of America. Until the next time, thank you for listening, and I hope we have another great guest of the community, just like Mr. Anthony Chianca. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you very much, Morris. I appreciate it.